Yeah. No.
You get it, Jenny? Good job. Maybe we should make you the IT director. No.
Who's that?
No, no.
That's what she said. You're making her. Oh, now she's heard that it was
With the website on Friday, I'm fine with the camera tonight. No.
No, I'm with you. Yeah. No, I don't see the problem unless you see it. As long as you're not. No. It's kind of on you. Yeah. Yeah, he's your chair there. No, so he's younger.
He usually sits there.
Yeah.
How nice your hand.
Usually pretty influential man.
I've been trying to take care of mine too.
6 o'clock, call the meeting to order. Ask clerk to take roll.
Vogel. Here. Sarchet.
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
Walters.
Here. First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. I have no additions or corrections. I take a motion.
Motion to approve is presented. Second.
Call.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Vogel.
Next item on the agenda is public comments. This is time and place for any comments for any item other than those in a public hearing. If you wish to speak, come to the podium, state your name. Request to keep your comments to 5 minutes. Floor is yours. Yep. Up to the podium, please.
My name is Dr. Bonnie Dorn. I've taught composition and rhetoric for over 3 years at different colleges. My address is 1260 West Broadway here in Polk City. I'm going to read my statement, so I stay within the on July 4th, around 7 or 8 at night, when I went outside on the porch on the side of my house, I was met with a visible wall of smoke and deafening explosions. I'm trying not to exaggerate. I knew there was a lot of noise and smells that I could experience inside, but I had no idea of the assault they produced on my senses outside. I had to go back inside my house because I could hardly see the end of my property because of the smoke, and my asthma was making it very difficult to breathe for the same reason. For more than 2 days, these conditions took place at my house, up and down the street, and all over the neighborhood. One family on the golf course started their celebration of fireworks a few days before the 3rd. They shouted over the hedge that they could set off their fireworks because it was allowed many days before the 4th. They said they got this information on Polk City's webpage. I shouted back that that was not true. They continued to set off their fireworks until I said they would probably be able to verify the correct days for the city's allowance of fireworks when the police arrived to stop them. The noise stopped. After that, I never had to talk to them. My neighbors, many neighbors disappeared on the 3rd and 4th because of the promised fireworks allowed in our city, but nowhere else in the nearby vicinity. Des Moines and surrounding suburban cities have banned all setting off of the fireworks, including Johnston, all except Polk City that I know. So apparently people bought their fireworks in those cities. I know in Johnson they had 3 umbrellas over the places where they sold the fireworks within a mile of each other on Merle Hay. So apparently buyers then some of them came to Polk City to set them off because the city allowed. Many of the pets in our neighborhood were hiding under the beds and shaking with each blast, popping, explosions that sounded like gunfire, and firework displays. And as I said before, we who stayed in our homes had to tolerate these conditions for days before and after the 3rd and 4th. Not only do these permitted fireworks worsen conditions that the city has felt severe enough to put in a burn ban, ostensibly because of asthma sufferers. I never understood such a ban for any other reason, but do understand it. The conditions were exactly the same as if many of the residents were burning their roofs and brushes, which you have banned. My real concern was for the vets who have to deal with their recurring experiences in battle conditions. Put yourself in the place and relive what they might have had to on the 3rd and the 4th. For many vets, just a pop of a car backfiring or a dream is enough to send them into paranoia and extreme emotional trauma. Imagine what the conditions of fireworks on July 3rd and 4th exploding around them might have caused. But because you all have allowed it for celebration's sake, I believe that they suffer in ways those of us who have never had to go to war did not and do not have to suffer. I implore you on this city council to ban all fireworks of all kinds, just as our wise neighboring cities have done. I don't want to have to leave my house because of extreme hostile conditions in my backyard.
Thanks for being here. I would tell you that we're not going to spend any time speaking on this. We spent quite a lot of time speaking on this over the last few months. We did make some changes. The other communities actually did reference or not necessarily, didn't necessarily ban them. But I'd be happy to talk to you about this subject some other time. But I tell you that we did make some changes, and based on all of the feedback that we had, it was much better this year than last year. So thank you for.
Next year I'll have some.
Okay, sounds fine. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Next item is new business. Oh, I apologize. Consent agenda. Next item, number 5, consent agenda. Take a motion.
So moved.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Anderson,
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Vogel, Sarchet.
Motion carries. Item 6, new business. Under new business, action item number 1, consider motion to hire James Mitchell II as full-time fire chief at $80,000 annually, effective August 27th. I'm going to turn the floor over to whoever wants to speak. Chief 1, Chief 2, either one of you, wherever you want to go.
Well, I don't. Sure.
There you go. I was kind of looking at you, Dan. I was kind of going, yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know that I got a lot to say.
Okay.
So, we obviously started this process a long time ago. I think we're long overdue for it. So, needless to say, I'm pretty excited about being at this point and making this decision. So, we had a great interview panel that included the fire department members, department heads, city management, and Jim was our forerunner. So, I've personally known Jim for, I think, about 15 years or so. So, we've worked together on lots of projects in the past and stuff. And I'm pretty confident he's going to fit in really well with the team over there and the city. So, I'm super excited to introduce you to Jim.
Thank you.
The floor is yours. If you have anything you'd like to say, it's all
I really
yours.
don't. I appreciate the opportunity.
Right.
Look forward to it. It was a good interview panel, as Dan mentioned.
He said we really grilled him, if we're being honest.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I left without any blood.
It's good.
So, yeah, I look forward to the opportunity.
Awesome.
I think we can do great things here. Forward.
Well, on a personal note, having come from that hat one time, we all knew this day would come at some point. That was even came from the predecessor before me and the predecessor before him. He said this day would come, and I think this was a long time coming. Jim came highly recommended from a couple of your peers who I did talk to, and had nothing but compliments to say. And I know in my previous life we had worked together as well. So I look forward to this. I think this is great. The other good thing, and I think is important to note, is that Chief Govins is not going anywhere, right?
Sure.
Okay, so that is one question that's been out there, so I want to make sure that we get that on record, that you're not. Anyway, that's all I have. If anybody else has anything else, otherwise I welcome a motion.
I'd love to make a motion and just want to emphasize the big step that this is, and I have more that I want to say, and probably should have said it earlier, but I don't want to steal any thunder from Chief Mitchell. I'll save that until the end here today, but this is a big deal, and very excited. Was a part of the process, was at times difficult, but tried to pay attention and have full confidence group that did. It just obviously pre-vested, and so excited to have you get going. And I think everything that we could have hoped for from an experience standpoint, and hearing from the guys and Dan and certain folks, just a lot of excitement around the transition. And I'll say more in a little bit, but welcome, and looking forward to getting to know you further.
Got a motion? Take a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vogel? Yes. Sarchet?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes. It's official. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Item 2, consider motion to approve resolution 2018-91 authorizing pay up number 4, final, sub-final, in the amount of $0 and accepting the 2016 street repair project. Pretty easy. Don't get $0 amounts very often.
No, yeah, the primary purpose is really just the project acceptance and starts the clock ticking on change release. Contractor still does need to get in their sales. Instruction works out fine.
Take a motion.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Anderson?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Vogel? Yes. Sarchet?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 3, consider motion to approve resolution 2018-89 authorizing pay up number 4 in the amount of $78,613.88 for Davis Street reconstruction project. Anything to add?
I don't think so. I mean, they're planning on starting paving next week. I guess it's all dependent on what, so yeah, the project's moving forward. We're hoping that it's a little bit ahead in terms of their use of working days. Once the paving gets rolling, I mean, that's a big ticket item that they'll at least start closing in that gap.
How are the neighbors hanging in up there? Everybody dealing?
I think fairly well compared to other projects, yeah.
Okay.
There was a situation on the one-way road, but that's been taken care of now, so.
Yeah, and once the schedule gets completely narrowed down in terms of when we start paving, we'll send a notification out to those neighbors so that they know, that they understand we're going to have a little limited access during the paving operations itself. Discuss saw cutting at night.
How long is that, the actual paving? Roughly?
The paving will be about a day long, but then
Okay.
it's the wait time, of course, and the wait time is 4 or 5 days probably this time of the year.
Yeah, up to
Just
seven, but yeah.
So it's an extended period of time, and
then they will have intersections and the box outs around it to back and so they do the main line paving.
then you gotta come back and put driveways in too, and that takes a while too, so it's an extended period of time.
And we're still slightly behind schedule with the weather. They're not, just the weather and everything.
It's more that they've used more days
Yeah.
compared to the percent dollar wise, but again, you get one day and you put in that much paving, and
Yep.
it starts looking more even.
I've had questions, but they're mostly when.
Yeah,
That's the only questions I've had, and I'm glad to hear that report. And utilities are all done now. Is that correct? I hope so, because that's what I've been telling people.
Yeah, I mean, today they were pretty much finishing up with the sub-drain, thank you, Kathleen, the sub-drain, so, yeah, I think they have a little bit to finish up tomorrow, but yeah, it's pretty much complete.
And also, I've been telling, just what you said, once the paving starts, it'll go.
It will go quicker.
Thank you.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Vogel? Yes.
Item 4, motion carries. Item 4, consider motion to approve resolution 2018-90 approving East Vista Lake Bay Act 4, amount of $161.20. 0 and 161.20 tonight. Huh?
Yeah, well, this one we're moving forward just to get them caught up. We actually had hoped that we'd be accepting the project, but grass, we don't have a full stand of grass yet. The contractor has reseeded it, so we're hoping, we're gonna hold off on recommending
Sure.
acceptance until grass is standing. So.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Vogel? Yes. Sarchet?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes. Motion carries. Item 7, reports and particulars. Just a couple quick things on my end, but I want to thank the Iowa pork producers for the opportunity to go spend a couple hours down on the big grill at the fair yesterday, so that was an interesting experience. That was fun, and thank them for allowing me to go down and be a celebrity chef, right, Rob?
As the son of a pork producer, I have no comment.
That's why I had to ask that. It was a lot of fun, really interesting, and good time to do. Anyway, and then on Dr. Von Dorn's comments, obviously, if she would like to speak more, I think we certainly can, but I think we've addressed that, and some of her comments were unfortunately not necessarily factual, but to that end, I know that there's an issue, but we addressed it, and I think we did a good job with the changes that we made. And
Well, yeah, I would say we definitely made an improvement.
I think we did, and
They're
based
right.
on what the report Trace provided, I think it was dramatic.
That doesn't mean there isn't more to be made, but
Yep.
baby steps. Sometimes.
Absolutely. All right, that's all I have. Anything?
A couple just questions. Somebody asked the stoplight. Is that? I haven't heard an update on that.
Yep, so that's coming. Actually, we were hoping to have it on the agenda tonight. It's not. We're going to, I think, finalizing bid documents.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're just getting some final
Yep.
comments back.
Yep. So we had a couple little minor issues with delivery. Delivery actually was doubled by the supplier, found out. And so because it wasn't going to be done in this calendar year, and because of the completion of the project up at Kimberly, we'll bid it late in the fall with the hope to get early spring good pricing, and hopefully kick that off in early 2019.
And then the next thing that I asked about, the consultant that we're going to use for the financial planning. Lindsay, have we engaged with them, or what do you have any updates on?
I've met with them probably 3 times now for training on the software. They're coming back this day after training.
Okay.
So it's going really well.
It's exciting. All right, my last thing was National Night Out. Went to that last week, and another awesome event by staff, volunteers, businesses that contributed. It was great as a mom. I had supper taken care of. The kids had a great time. They came home with too many trinkets and candy, but again, just another really, really great event. So thank you to the police staff and everybody else who helped them.
So, Chief Leonard, I don't want to take any of your spotlight away. I've thought a little bit about how to do this, and I'm probably not going to do it well, but I do think that Dan needs to be recognized, so I'm going to try and do that without making eye contact with him anymore. But like I said, this is a big step, and I try to sit up here and not be overly influenced by the 11 years that I spent with the department. But this could have gone badly, and I know a lot of folks are struggling with what it means to go from a full-time person to what we had. Sorry. I just do need to recognize that Dan is everything that we could hope for to this point. He's been doing a full-time job, as Jason knows, a lot of people know, for a long time. And technically speaking, he's exactly what you want. And if I ever had my wife or daughters needing a paramedic, Dan's absolutely the guy that I want. But his character, I think how he's handled this transition is very emblematic of how he's led the department that I was proud to be on for 11 years. Just this is a big step, and I hope that everybody recognizes how well we've had a full-time chief for a long time. We just have to pay for him until today. And so from this seat and taking away some of the bias that I have for the people and everything involved, I'm just very, very proud of how this has gone. You talk a lot about brotherhood when you're in the fire department, and I consider Dan to be a brother. I'm very, very proud of him. He's doing his part. Sorry for making a mess.
I'm going to follow that. We've been very fortunate over the years to have people like Dan, Jason, people before them that stepped forward and lead that department, but unfortunately those days are gone. It's just too demanding, and I understand why we've had to move on, and you can't be without a fire department. It's that simple. and we need that leadership, so thank you.
You said everything. I don't think I need to belabor that anymore. So congratulations to both of you.
Anybody else have anything else to add to that, Trace?
Just in general, I would like to, I'd like to say thank you to Lieutenant Sipker. He organized National Night Out, and the whole department worked really hard on it. When I was not there, it was my fault. I scheduled a vacation over it and didn't realize it until I could not change things. So if anyone wonder why I wasn't there, that was completely my fault. And Jeremy still did a phenomenal job in pulling it off. We estimated about 75 more people than last year. I think we went around 275 or maybe 350 people this year. And the community, there's a long list of people contributed and volunteered and helped, and that's what it's meant to be. It's not supposed to be the police department putting something on. It's us hosting the community to come in and meet with us and engage with our public safety departments, and it went really well. I was really excited to see the turnout from it. And the other thing is
Did you see it? Oh wait,
yeah.
you scheduled a vacation.
Jeremy kept me in the loop.
I'm just sorry. I had to.
And then Ron Lampers was nominated and voted as the Traffic Safety Officer of the Year by our Central Iowa Traffic Safety Task Force. That's funded through GTSB that we participate in. That's kind of a big deal. A lot of officers get nominated for that from around the Central Iowa area. And Ron won that this year. She'll be recognized at a luncheon on September 7th.
Our employees have been out at the landscaping area, the brush drop off over the weekend, kind of policing that again. We felt that it might be getting out of control a little bit again, so we wanted to make sure we want to get some numbers out there. And we did turn, I believe it was 6 people away this weekend, over the weekend. We had pretty much both days covered. And we're going to be doing more of that. We're doing it with part-time staff and then the full-time staff that's on Saturdays. So trying to make that work for us a little bit.
So since you mentioned it, I'll just mention the fact that, I talked to Randy on Saturday about this, and I talked to both of you guys today, but in fact, both of your departments worked really well together on that.
Yeah,
when we needed something, the teamwork went on there on
yeah.
Saturday was truly appreciated on this end, and I need to make sure you guys pass that back to your guys. But I know, in talking to Randy about that, I think when we get to the off season here, when we get into December, January, and you guys are, not plowing or whatever, we'll sit down and have some further conversations about what we want to do with that moving forward. I think we got some ideas, but I think, collectively, I think between all of us, we'll maybe pull that committee back together or something and have some further conversations about it. I had a good conversation with Jeremy and good conversation with Randy about it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think we'll get back on that deal at some point in time. So.
Well, Metro Waste is meeting on Wednesday, so I can kick the tires as suggested to incorporate them and see what help they can possibly provide. I know we want to be careful not to ask for something we may not ultimately want, but
Things are working pretty good over there. It's just that same one problem we have, having the combined recycling with the landscaping. It's too easy to just pull in and use our brush pile, which we're not supposed to. So.
And it's the people who you talk to who were nice about it, but it's the other ones who aren't that need to be put on notice. Right. Right, Trace?
Yep. Happy to.
I know you are. Appreciate that. Anything else good to the cause? Anyone? Oh.
I just want to welcome Jim, and I'm looking forward to working with you. I was able to sit down with Jim after our panel, and we got to spend a morning together, and he's already looking forward to working here, and he had some great ideas that he's bringing forward, so looking forward to that.
Thank you. Me too.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
I
No, Jeff. No.
It's Jason.
Oh, I can't.
tomorrow I could
Yeah.